Welcome to Magic Hour. I'm your host, Paul Chappell. Today I am reviewing John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. And let's get this right out of the way, folks. If you like genocide, this is the movie for you. John Wick, and I'm not even exaggerating here. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit. He kills at least half of New York. In fact, he goes back in time. They totally ripped off Avengers Endgame. He goes back in time. Not only does he kill the assassins, but he kills their parents. Then he goes further back in time. He kills their grandparents. He kills so many people in this film. He kills people, the old assassins' money. He kills their dogs. He kills their cats. He kills their relatives.
He kills their kids. He kills their wives. He kills their parents and their parents' friends. He burns down the houses they live in and the stores they work in. He kills people that owe them money. And like that, he's gone.
There's so much killing in this movie. Okay, I'm having a little fun here, but this movie was sort of awesome. It's not just the fact that he kills a lot of people that made this film so interesting. It's the fact that they found so many ways to kill people. I'm used to the old John Wick who just headshots everybody. In this film, he actually kills a fair amount of people using knives. I mean, there's an awesome knife fight in this movie. It's just probably the best knife fight I've seen in any action film ever. There's a scene where John Wick kills henchmen using a horse, kills them on a motorcycle. What else? Oh my God. There's a lot of good dog action in this film. Of course, if you know from watching the trailers that he teams up with Halle Berry playing a character named Sophia, and Sophia has some German Shepherds who wear Kevlar vests. Funny enough, and they kill and kill and kill and kill and kill. So there's a lot of killing in this film. If you're squeamish, if you don't like killing, I wouldn't go see this movie because, of course, that's what John Wick is all about. So, what's the plot of this film? Well, if you watched the last movie, you know that John Wick killed a member of the High Table, which is the organization that controls all other assassins and underworld types in this universe that John Wick is in. They're kind of like, I guess they're just like the Five Families of New York, something like that, except they're international. But I think specifically they controlled all the assassins throughout the world. And the assassins have a hotel just like regular people, and they're called Continentals. They're also international. We've seen one Continental in New York. We've seen one in Italy. And in this film, we see one in Casablanca, Morocco, which incidentally is also where John Wick finds Halle Berry's character, Sophia. She runs the Continental in Casablanca. So the Continental is a place where assassins can check in, and no violence is allowed on the grounds of the Continental. And John Wick makes the mistake in the last movie of killing a member of the High Table who's taking sanctuary in the Continental in New York. So he's racing against the clock because he knows he's going to be made excommunicado, which means every assassin in the world can now kill him and collect a bounty of $14 million. So John goes to the public library, of course. I mean, naturally, where else would an assassin go? But specifically, he goes there because he has some mementos hidden out in a book in the library. He basically has a marker, and just to fill in the blanks on markers. Markers is something that assassins give each other. They put a dab of their blood into it, and they're bound to you for some type of service in the future, which is why John was brought out of retirement in the last film, because the Italian mob boss, and I forget his name, but he shows up at John's house and calls in a marker on John to have an assassination made on his sister so that he can be a member of the High Table. So anyway, in the start of this film, he's just running around trying to collect these mementos and trying to get out of the city before he's excommunicado. He goes and sees the director, played by Angelica Houston. She's the director of some kind of ballet company, and this is where it gets very interesting. We actually get an origin story for John Wick, which is what I really, really liked about this film. You find out that John Wick was an orphan of Belarus, which is part of the former Soviet Union. So yes, he is Russian. And that makes sense if you saw the first movie, because he battles the Russian mob after the son of a Russian mobster kills his dog and steals his car. So you see the connection, because the mob boss in the first film actually knows who he is. Everybody knows who John Wick is in this assassin underworld. So I like the fact that they explain a little bit more. They didn't explain too much, which I like. They didn't do any silly flashbacks of John Wick as a kid killing people, but you just see him walking backstage with the director, and you see these kids learning to wrestle and all these other assassins. So you kind of get an idea of what kind of childhood John Wick probably had. So I like that. We got a lot of characters that return from the last movie, such as Lawrence Fishburne playing the Bowery King, basically the head assassin for the homeless assassins, I call them. You got, who else returned? Ian McShane playing Winston again. He's the director of the New York Continental. And you got these new characters played by Asia Kate Dillon playing the adjudicator. She's basically a representative of the High Table, and she's going around New York punishing the people that helped John Wick in the last movie. Basically, Lawrence Fishburne's character and Ian McShane. She gives them a week to give up their positions. So you got all these old characters returning and a couple new characters. If you know Game of Thrones, we got a character played by Jerome Flynn who plays Bronn. He played some kind of character with the High Table that John goes to see in Casablanca. John is trying to see a man called the Elder, who is one of the top officials on the High Table. And John goes to him because he wants to get this bounty on his head waived. And the Elder gives him a choice. He could either be killed, or he can work for the High Table exclusively for the rest of his life. And to do that, he must first demonstrate his loyalty or his fealty by killing Winston, who is the director of the Continental New York. So he has to go back to New York. And I won't go any further. That pretty much gives you an idea of the plot. I don't want to spoil too much. But was it good? It was good. I have to say, I would give it a 4.5 maybe. Almost a 5, because it was just so much action in this film. And it was interesting and new, and you felt like in a lot of instances that you were seeing some action sequences that you've never seen before. So they really went for it in this movie. So what didn't I like about the film? Some of the later fights in the movie kind of went on a little bit too long. I would have to say it kind of made me kind of upset that John Wick was so indestructible in this film. They carry over the whole thing from the other earlier films where John Wick just keep getting hit by cars and just getting up with no damage. So that kind of annoyed me a little bit. It also annoyed me the fact that everybody seems to know who John Wick is. I think one of the points of being an assassin is your anonymity. I mean, you're not going to get too far as an assassin if everybody knows who you are. The same problem I have with the James Bond films, because James Bond goes around, he's supposed to be this super secret special agent, and yet everybody, at a certain point in the series, everybody knows who James Bond is. They know his reputation. So John Wick suffers from some of the same problems. But overall, it was a great film. There was a lot of there were so many moments in the theater when I went and saw this with my wife, and my wife was just elbowing me, hit some of the she must have elbowed me like 15 times throughout this movie when something very sinister, like something very badass happened where John would just kill somebody just in a really sadistic way. I would just get a nudge, and you just hearing the audience people going, "Ooh, whoa!" There was a lot of that in this film, so I just kind of enjoyed it. It's the kind of film you want to go see it in theater for that reason. You want to hear other people's reaction to it. So, like I said, I give it 4.5, almost a solid 5. And you would think that this would be the last film in the series, and you would be wrong about that, because at the end they set up yet another sequel. And I think in the next film, Chapter 4, John Wick will be going after the High Table itself. So that's interesting. And I can't wait to see what they have planned. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I would like to thank my subscribers, and I encourage you, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a like, comment, tell me what you liked about this film if you've already seen it. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.